So I have two more short stories to share with you. And for the few questions I asked here, this have answers, set of answers, okay? Dr. Follin discovered phenylketonuria in 1934. And the unusual signs is the urine will make ferric chloride test turns green. And the children's condition, they're mentally retarded, developmentally retarded. Chemicals is phenylpyruvate, right? That's a alternative pathway product, metabolism product from phenylalanine. The amino acid could not be properly metabolized is phenylalanine, okay? All this information you can find out from the story or from previous biochemistry course. Now I'm going to share another story which is a few years before 1934, okay? I'm trying to make you have the connection between the discovery of phenylketonuria and precision medicine. Why did I pick up this topic to explain traditional medicine and precision medicine? What do you, when you hear this word, precision medicine, what does it come to your mind? How do you define precision medicine? Precision. We call it 精准, precision, or personalized. Personalized medicine. Why? Why is that? What does it mean? What does precision medicine? Personalized medicine, it's more easy to understand, right? Everybody is different. So if you take the same medicine, the effect may varies from person to person, okay? Because we have different genes, different response to the same medicine. Okay, so nowadays, the medical treatments goes to your genes, to DNA, the difference between peoples. Okay, so you may want to give your patient slightly different prescription, okay, different treatment to personalize the treatment. Okay, so precision is focused on the personalized. We want to focus on your genes. Okay, so the treatment is more precise. Okay, so I use the examples in metabolic metabolism, inborn error metabolism. This word describes the genetic defect in metabolism. And because of the enzyme defect, the gene has a defect, so it could not produce functional enzyme in order to metabolize amino acid or other product that cause this genetic disease. All right, so this happens around early 1900s. All right, there's many different events happening because the development of physiology and development of the biochemistry, what we know about genetics, okay, heredity. It was not known before 1900, even genetics, right? Mendelian's law of inheritance was rediscovered after 1900. So people at this time period, they didn't know much about what's happening in our body, right? They don't know the molecular mechanism. So as the time goes, many of these techniques or theories or knowledge, biochemistry, genetics, molecular biology, cell biology, inborn error metabolism. After all this knowledge was developed, then we understand why some defect causing the disease, what kind of defect results in the disease. And then we can go further to screening children who has the defect and then try to treat them at early stage to avoid some irreversible damage. Okay? So all this coming from few early studies. One of them is phenylketonuria. And before phenylketonuria, there's other people who made milestones. All right? So we were talking about this pathway, phenylalanine degradation pathway to tyrosine. If the enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase has a defect, then any of this enzyme has a defect, it will cause a disease, a different disease. Okay, so any of this enzyme. So the next, I'm going to talk about this disease, alkaptouria. Alkaptouria is, on many of the stories I'm talking, or all of the stories contains the main characters. One of them is a mother, a very observant mother, okay? And also has a doctor. The doctors are interested in research, and they are willing to follow up with the patient. So that accomplishes their findings. So now we will introduce a story about alkaptouria, which means this is the name of the chemical that accumulated. But this disease is also called black urine disease because this chemical accumulation the accumulated material will be excreted in urine. And once it's excreted from your body, it was exposed to the air. And so it oxidizes. And after oxidation, it turns black. So people call it black urine disease. This accumulation, this chemical accumulation doesn't cause much damage to our body, not much. So most people had a normal life, okay? So it wasn't, therefore, not much attention was paid to the treatment or finding the causes. So this disease was first identified in 1800, probably 1860. A long time ago, people noticed some people had, when they urinate, after a while the urine turned black urine disease. But since it has no other defect, it can live a normal life. So that's it, right? Okay. Okay, and then after a while, they know it's the accumulation of homogentisate. And this thing is also called alkaptone. So the disease is also called alkaptouria. All right? The hallmark of this disease is the urine turns black, okay? Black urine. And after a long period of time, those pigments, those black pigments will accumulate in connective tissue and also cause arthritis, right? Connective tissue like shown here, okay, in the ear, in the cornea, okay? However, these two symptoms usually show up after 30 years, so at age 30, after that. But otherwise, those people can live a normal life. Right. Okay. So who discovered black urine disease? It's this person, Dr. Archie Garrold. He was a British scientist. Okay? I don't know how to pronounce it, so call him Archie. All right, Garrold. Dr. Garrold. He's an English physician, and what else? His father, Alfred Garrold, is also a physician. And you mentioned, you were introduced to him before. In last semester, we had an invited lecture about gout. Remember, we had a Dr. Pan Yuren 医师 come to our class, introduce gout. And he mentioned an experiment by Alfred Garrold. Gout was caused by uric acid. So people with gout has high concentration of uric acid in their urine. He put a cotton thread into the urine of a gout person. All right, and then those uric acid attached to the cotton thread form crystals. This is the famous thread test. He established the relationship between uric acid and gout. All right. So this is the Alfred Garrold when he was young, around 1848. Okay. So let's coming back to his son. This is his father. His father studied gout and rheumatoid arthritis. Okay. And his son, Archie. So Archie was grow up in this well family. Okay, his father is a physician. Their family have a very good status in society. Right. So their family friends are all scientists, doctors, scientists. Okay. One of their visitors, their friends. So this is the time period he grew up. And one of the family friend often visit his family is Francis Galton. Who is Francis Galton? He's a cousin of Charles Darwin. Right? Cousin. And he's also a famous scholar. Statistician, sociologist, psychologist, anthropologist, a lot. Because also, Charles Darwin, his family is well established. 是 rich family, okay? At that time period, if you have a higher status, rich families, they usually have higher education, have access to education, to become a scientist, to become a physician, right? So he also had a lot of friends, families that are scientists or physicians. So when he was young, he is interested in biology. He collected many butterflies, okay? And he did very well in his science class. But he doesn't like grammar. He doesn't like English grammar, okay? He didn't do well in certain subject, but he likes science. Anyway, he graduated with top grades. And he's interested in spectroscopy, okay, using physics. So anyway, he entered medical schools in Oxford as his father, and later become a physician. So, and he enjoys doing research in his clinical samples. Okay. And he enjoys doing chemistry. Okay, at that time, chemistry is more developed than other subjects and other science topics. So especially he's interested in colors. For example, urine can show different colors. So he's interested in finding, if a patient has this urine color, what kind of disease he has. So he enjoys doing research about this kind of stuff. Right? And he also worked very hard, had a lot of publication, books, okay, very well-known scientist, physician. All right, so let's see. He met a patient with chorea, okay, a patient. This previously, Dr. 潘玉仁也提过, chorea, that means you cannot control the movement of your muscle. So your muscle just overreact. Okay, you cannot control it. So it turns out that like you're dancing, but you didn't mean to do that. All right, this is a kind of disease, and he found out patients with this disease, chorea, had colored urine, and he tried to analyze what's the color, what kind of stuff causing the color. He want to find out the pigment, what's the pigment. And it turns out to be, using chemistry, it turns out to be porphyrin. You know what porphyrin is, remember? Okay. And because he wanted to know what caused this color change, he wanted to find out what compound causing the color. But for a clinician, for a physician, he didn't have enough chemistry background, even though he enjoyed it. So he went to a different scientist's lab, Frederick Hopkins. Okay, Hopkins, also a famous scientist who discovered vitamin B, I believe, and won a Nobel Prize. So he went to his lab to learn how to do chemistry, separation different compound, and identify the content in this, the pigment in the urine. So Hopkins is an English biochemist. He won the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine because he discovered vitamins. And he is the first person to use the word biochemistry, biology plus chemistry. Okay, so Garrow went to his lab to learn all the techniques, and finally, Frederick Hopkins finally found out, he learned the newest techniques at that time to separate, to purify compounds, okay, in the sample. And so he finally identified it's porphyrin that causing the color red. Porphyrin is the chemical compound in hemoglobin. Remember this? Heme, within the heme.